yeah, I don't think I've done too bad, to be honest. From that to that. Morning, guys and girls. Hope you're doing well. And just to let you know, this video is going to be a good one. And it's a good one for a few different reasons. I've been doing this about, I don't know, 20 years or so. And I've always been fanboy of certain things. And ALPINE has always been a big part of sort of like my fan base. I've got some lovely ALPINE units. I've got old 7998Rs and things, which are really cool, sort of old school stuff. And about 24, 25 years ago, a product came out called the F1 Status. And I can only dream of it, to be honest. It's silly, silly, silly money. It's far, far too good SQ for any car that I've ever owned. And today I get the chance not to fit the F1 Status, but basically its little brother. Let me show you down here. To fit ALPINE Status range. Now, this is amazing SQ audio. I'll go through all the bits and pieces in a second with you. But yeah, as an overall, we've got basically a 10, which actually works out to be 11-inch subwoofer, monoblock down the bottom, and obviously a 4-channel, and then 4-way components going in a very cool little car. Now, you may be expecting that they're going in sort of like a Maybach or a big 7 Series or something of that sort of nature. So you're gonna laugh when I show you in the workshop what we're gonna be fitting it into. But basically, I'm kind of excited. I haven't done SQ like this for a while. Yes, you probably see me, I do Focal K2 range. I do sort of all the bits and pieces. Focal's equivalent, I guess you'd probably have to come up to something like the Utopia range, which is something I've done before, the Utopia Beryllium series. Really, really nice stuff. But I'm excited to get this one in the car. We're doing a custom box, we're doing custom arrangement. I'm gonna go ported on the subwoofer, which I guess is controversial for SQ, but I went through all the setup for the subwoofer, and I think it deserves to go ported. And I did speak to ALPINE, and they're sort of like, yeah, you know what, port it, have some fun with it. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I can't wait to get stuck into this one. It's probably going to be a long video. There's lots of stuff to show. There's lots of different bits and pieces in it. The first thing is obviously going to be all the sound editing in the car. There's no point having a car that rattles and shakes around if you can have this level of SQ. So yeah, I'm gonna show you what's inside the boxes and what it sort of looks like, and then obviously we'll go through afterwards and have a look in the workshop, and I'll show you what cars are going in. So I'm going to start off by showing you this monster sub. Well, just look at the stack on that. Absolutely huge. Now, it does only run 400 watt RMS, which is crazy thinking about how big that is. I've got much smaller looking subs that have got way more power than that. But obviously this is SQ. This doesn't need to have that really big flappy sort of SPL style system to it, massive excursion. I do love how they've done this outer rubber bit, and the cone, you won't get across on camera, is so tight. It's got so much dampening. So I think this thing's gonna absolutely drop in there. Huge voice coil. Don't know if you can see how wide that is compared to the subwoofer. So usable areas from there, and you can see the voice coil is absolutely massive on it. I imagine it's double spider. I'm not gonna cut it open to find out, obviously. But no, just really, really good bit of kit. Can't find the weight on it, but this thing weighs an absolute ton. Much heavier than you expect it to be. I'd love to have some scales here. I don't know. I'll see if I can find at some point, and I'll flag up on the screen how much it actually weighs. But it's colossal. Really, really looking forward to getting this in. It's a dual 2 ohm, so essentially we'll be running it in sort of a 4 ohm variant, having those in a series circuit. That's going to give us the best for the SQ side of it. It's just lovely looking. Really, really looking forwards to getting that in there. Hope this basket can hold up, basically, because I know the weight of this. I imagine it will do. It's engineered very nicely. Everything on it looks really, really good, clean quality. So really, really looking forward to that. And obviously the piece de resistance is this sort of weird wave baffle that they've got going around the outer edge here, which I think when we've got that flexing will look awesome. And that's one of the great things as well, because they've actually followed that across into their speaker range, which I'll show you one of them now. Right, moving on to those speakers. So as you can see, they've kept that design in there. Still got a nice tight cone. Obviously all speakers have to bed in. So really sort of copied the look of it. It's a shame that you don't get to see the sort of the grunt side of it. So Nice thick tinsels there, designed to do up to about 300 watt max. Beautiful little tweeter design as well. Really love this sort of polished aluminium edge they've given this, and obviously copying it across, so they've got it all the way around. Nice good weight to it. Everything feels very nice. No little sort of wires hanging at the back, proper terminals onto it. And obviously a crossover unit. Crossover looks pretty much standard, but you can see they've got some very nice quality capacitors in there. Everything else sort of looks as you'd expect. I don't know if it's got jumpers. Yep, so we've got a treble jumper there, plus or minus 3 decibels. So, but obviously we'll probably set that as 0. We'll let the head unit do the hard work of it. Really nice copper winding actually there. That's a good stack of decent quality copper there. So, talking of copper, you may have seen, that was that CDA 7998R that I was talking about. And it's sort of, I got this years and years ago. And it was a case of, I was like, wow, since when did manufacturers make things in copper chassis? And then if you start looking into it a little bit further, it's all to do with getting external influence out of it. So it's a really, really good shield to sort of any electromagnetism that gets in from outside the vehicle. So really nice. Today's world, they wouldn't bother, purely on the basis of cost factor. That, well, it's an expensive unit as it is, but obviously they wouldn't build them like that anymore because it just costs too much for copper. So, but yeah, coming back over to these, very, very nice. Can't see anything on here that looks sort of denotably different. Quite a fine spider rib, like the ribbing, the spacing for it there. So designed to do really, really quick reflex. No cooling port on the bottom of it or anything, so that will keep the chamber nice and clean inside, so you don't get dust sucked into the speaker. So, and obviously dust cap cover there stays very stationary, and yet again following up this lovely polished lip edge. But no, with that, that almost looks like a subwoofer when you look at it like that, considering what you've just seen. But no, really, really looking forward to hearing this stuff. So, and then the last piece of the puzzle are the amplifiers, which look normal in all honesty, but I'll get one out and I'll show you. And the amps are kind of like the normal part of it. Very clinical, very clean. Glad they kept it black to sort of match everything else that's going on in there. Obviously settings wise and things, I believe they're all under this cover. Got the quick release style plugs that they use on the old PDX stuff, so that's good to see. So, no, a nice unit. I don't think there's anything around the other side of it. Nope, just very, very plain, good quality. It's got a decent bit of weight to it as well. And traditionally, I think that will all light up and do its thing. So, no, really looking forward to getting this in here. We won't need the base controller because the stereo that we're using, which hasn't turned up yet, but will be here very soon. So I'll show you that when we get it. It's one of the ILEX 705Ds, so perfectly suited to run what we're doing here. So yeah, those will look awesome in the build design that I've got planned for this install. So, right, let me get that back in the box and I'll take you through to the car. Right, so coming on to the car bit, the really geeky people will know by looking at the cards what car it is. As you can see, we've got carbon lay insert, nice red leathering, and a little Scorpion logo front and back, which will give the game away. So the car that all this amazing sound system going into is Fiat 500. Now, this is going to be one loud SQ little Fiat 500. That subwoofer's going to vibrate the living pants out of this, but I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. I'm actually really, really excited to do it in a car like this. So essentially, we've already had, we've taken it out, or part of it out now. Check out the livery on that. How cool. That Scorpion design going through. As you can see, a nice roll cage, which is exactly where we need to put the sub, but we're going to incorporate it, of course. So in here, he already had a Focal PS series, had a Pioneer stereo. He's had a really, really cool dashboard done with Jamie Shaw doing some work on here, and it looks phenomenal. I'll get some more light in here in a minute so you can see. As you can see, we've got a bit of a shell to work with, which is always good. It's less work for me to do, regardless of taking stuff apart, but there's still, I'm not getting twisted on it, there's still a hell of a lot of work to do on this one. Coming through to the back here, so got a lovely, lovely little Scorpion logo. Don't know what that marking is. I'm presuming the customer knows about that. I've not touched the car yet, so Chris can't blame me for this one. But yeah, looking at that, you can see we're going to have a good bit of space. Back chair delete. So the system is going to be a sort of the subwoofer floating center here, speaker over this side, speaker over this side, tweeter down below, The port, I think I'm going to have to run the port along the bottom, depending on the angle of the sub. We've got a bit of room there, so that'll run through. We've got some laser etched Alpine Status logo stuff to go in there. We've got some little triangulation pieces to fit in, so it's going to look spot on, but you'll see that as we go along with it. I am going to have to try and get these door cards out so I can do the sound deadening of things, and there are speakers in there which we're going to take out for the moment, but there's not a lot of space between the door card and the roll cage, so I really hope I don't have to take the cage out. I'm prepared to if I have to, but I really don't want to. We're going for a full red lighting scheme, so everything will light up red in there, which will look really good. And coming up to this side, I think the customer has sort of agreed. I'm not doing it, but I think he knows it as well. This red carbon look that he's got doesn't look right with this sort of red in here. It's a little bit sort of, I hate to say it, a little bit tacky. But he's going to go back to proper carbon on this, so that'll look really, really nice when it's done. The pillars, obviously that's where the tweeters are. Now, I've got a little surprise for him going up on there, which you'll see as the build goes along. So, but no, it's going to look really nice. This is Dinamica, so it's like an Alcantara, but it's got a finer mesh. And it looks really, really good. It's come out so nice. Obviously, that's the Jamie Shaw logo there. Those who know about Jamie Shaw will know, but yeah, he used to be big in the game. Well, I can't say he used to be. He is big in the game. So it's really nice to see a bit of endorsement on there from him. The rest of this is sort of my playground to work with. So we've got a hell of a lot of stuff to do. I've got to take all this old stuff out, get it all set. There's a lot of cabling that's all going to be redone. I did this a few years back, and all these have got to be changed out. We've got to put better quality stuff in for what we're going for. And then as we look over here, I think it'll be amazing the way we're going to display the amps. He's got some really nice stuff going back there. So I can't wait to get started on it, to be honest. So, right, that's enough of the car for the moment. The first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is take out the stuff we don't need. I'm going to strip this back down. We've got to do full sound deadening on all the doors. And basically, as much as I can get to for the sound deadening, obviously, I'm going to take these rear cards out as well. Basically, strip the car down. So when you see it next, hopefully the door cards will be off, these will be out, the sound deadening will be applied inside the inner skin to obviously start sort of absorbing it, because it is an SQ car, so we do need to keep it quite sort of subtle. I don't think I'm going to the extent of lifting the floor and doing it that way around. It's something that we'll have to deal with as and when, once we've heard the system running, to see if it needs it or not. But yeah, I'm excited, guys, and I can't wait to get into this one. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Obviously, give me a like already just for the Alpine Status gear. That isn't something that you can go and buy. I had to speak to Alpine, and they had to make sure that I'm a good enough installer to put this equipment in, which is kind of nuts. I've never had to do that, but they're very, very, very protective over it, which is a good thing to be. So anyway, guys, right, let me get cracking. I'm excited. I'll see you soon. Sadly, I had to move the cage to get that screw up there out, but oh well. It is so tight though. I think Chris even mentioned about the fact that he struggled to put it in, so I'm gonna have some fun with that, some tension straps and all sorts of things, I reckon. But we'll get it in, because I need to get that door card out, and there's a screw up there, and that's got to happen. All right, well, that was a bit of fun, but the cage did have to be moved. I'm not taking it out, just rocked it forwards. You see, that's his old setup there, which he was happy with, and people were saying to him, like, why go to the next level in it? But sometimes audio, there is no like end level. You can always want to hear better. So that's that and that, which is good. So we've got part of the sound deadening done, so I still need to add some down the corner there, add some there. So he's had a fair bit before, not a hell of a lot, not too little. So, but obviously these are going to be a speaker delete, and then our new speakers will be back here. So, all right, let me get this all out. I'll probably get the Dynamite on there as well. Right, we're starting to get to the shell point of it now. But I found all this. Now, this is good. It's sound deadening. It's like an absorption foam on this one. And he's put a wooden frame in that I believe is attached. It's certainly not budging if I pull it around. So that's good. It gives me a good solid base to build up on, so I can actually screw the actual whole arrangement down, so that in the event of a crash, I think, to be honest, it's going to go inside the bars anyway, so it would stop itself. But it's always nice to have a bit going on the floor. My main concern, this stuff's good at absorbing sound, but I can see from the little gaps that there's no actual sheet sound deadening underneath. So I don't know. Yeah, and this bit's all packed out as well. And it's all stuck. I'm gonna ruin it all, taking it all out. I think we're gonna do what we can, sound end wise, and we'll see how this goes. Worst case scenario, he'll have to come back. We take it all out of the box, or take the box and everything else out of the vehicle, and then get back into this bit. We shall see. Well, I think Chris will be happy with this. One of the things when the car came in, I said the roof was a little bit rattly. So while I've got the bar down, I thought I may as well get a couple of place panels up in there. And obviously we're going to continue sound ending down around here. Still got to do that side. But yeah, we'll be happy to know at least the roof's got something on it to protect. I guess you did have a bit of Alpine before, so we won't be needing you anymore, mate. We're getting your big brother. Cage back in and sounded and done, but I'm bored of sounding in now. So I think I'm going to come on to something more fun. So up here, obviously we've got tweeters, and the Alpine ones, they're probably too deep for it. I've not even looked, not even thought about it. I thought I don't want them firing straight across. They deserve to be spin around, sort of angled up at where you're sitting. So then it was a case of like, right, well, do I pod them? Which would be the normal example of doing it, where you basically just get a ring on there, fiberglass it onto the panel, recover the panel, and it looks very smooth, but kind of boring. It's been done many times. So what I was thinking is, can I add something to this panel that sort of gives it the tweeter, the mount, the angle and everything else, but another panel, maybe something trimmed in this same red color, keep it matching. Looking at the dash, a lot of curves. I'm not seeing anything sort of sharp edged, so I thought, well, a triangular one wouldn't look great there. So I decided to go on CAD and 3D print around sort of tweeter mount position. Now that's going to sit, say, about there. There's still a lot of work to do on it, but I guess a bit different. It's fully printed through, so it is solid. There's no air holes in this. I think I came up with the weight about 270, so that's 270 grams. So that will just give us a nice mounting solution there. Chris doesn't know about this bit. I think he thought I'd just pod it, which is what other people have said, I'm just going to have to pod it. So hopefully this comes out a lot nicer and a bit more unique. It's going to be a little bit of fun, but I think it'll be all right. Got a little plan for that bit there, but you'll see that as that goes along. Tweeter wires up there behind there already. I've ran a new one obviously through, so we'll think I'm going to start mucking about with this. Now I guess first thing, I'm probably going to do this off camera because it's kind of boring, but it'll be working out position, cutting out this bit, and then we'll have to do a bit of panel matching. So should be all good. Trim it over, get the angle about there, left that bit at the back there, so hopefully when I'm lining them up I can actually get a reference to that straight line, because it's hard to get references off a circle. So that straight bit at the back you can see there, and obviously the tweeter fits within that space. So have that about there. Right, I reckon that's good to go-ish. But yeah, what do you think? Pure PLA. It's could have used PET G, I'm guessing, but it's going to be covered, it's going to be trimmed. It's a different sort of thing. So hopefully it works out good. It is very heavy, it is very dense. I think it'll hold the tweeter nice, and I think I can make it match all of this sort of stuff really nice in here with a little factory style add-ons. So let's see how it goes. All right, so that's the first part of that panel match process. Basically, it just fills all the gaps around the edges. And once that is done and dusted, it should look something like that. So I think they're going to really smart up on there. So you can see, obviously, we've got the rounded bit coming through from here, and then those in that same red trim. I think they'll look awesome from the inside. Just gives you a lovely little sort of angle piece. Much better than having them just firing over. No, I think they've worked out great. I think, yeah, happy with them. Right, still got to do a little bit more sanding on it, but we'll get the bulk of it in, make sure they test fit. Still got enough room under there so I don't get any vibration running through. And obviously it just ever so slightly comes over the lip, so we'll have to copy that. Obviously symmetry is quite important when you're doing this, so I'm going to sand the other one down, make sure it looks the same. I think once those have got that same red trim on there, they're going to really stand out nice. So yeah, very happy with how they've come out. So right, let's get those trimmed over and get them in the doors. Not in the doors, get them in the pillars. How cool do they look? So let me take you inside and I'll show you a bit better. So I think they match up lovely with the way it's going to go. And obviously you may be able to see just pushed in the little scorpion logos. So they've got like a little Abarth embossment on them. So that'll be all good. Obviously we've still got the tweeters in, but I'm not going to do that yet. But I'm going to let them sit for a while, make sure they stay as they are. But no, I'm really happy with that. And I'm sure Chris will love them too. Right, with those pods up the front there done and dusted, I think I probably better move to the next part of the building of the project. Might as well keep all the building in flow as we go. So obviously I've got to build the main part of the system back here, which incorporates the rear speakers, the amplifiers, the leisure battery, also the focal unit, which I took out. I don't know if you saw it, was underneath that chair. There's gonna be a little focal driver in here, so he doesn't have to use his main bass driver all the time when he just wants to drive around town and just have his music. Then obviously he's gonna just activate his big bad boy subwoofer. So obviously it's a blank canvas. I've got free rein on it, and as I always like to do a little sketch to sort of get my eye on for where things are going to go. So that's the basic sort of layout. There is one change. This was designed with a sealed box, but after doing the calc, I think I'm going to put it imported. But I think we've definitely got enough room there. So I think I'm going to start at the floor and start working up. I don't think I'm going to show the whole process. It's just going to be a lot of wood cutting. If you want to see wood skills, go back and check out the other Super one. But basically, just going to start building this up and start getting things into rough position, and then obviously go from there. So I'll give you an update when we've got some wood in. Right, so we've got a bit of the old woodwork going on. It's worked out pretty nice. It's roughly how I designed it. Obviously, it's so hard when you measure up the cars and you design them until you've got it here to pick up exact distances and things. So yeah, had to recalc the box ever so slightly. But yeah, very happy with it. It's 2.1 cubic foot. It shows about a 0.3 cubic foot port area, which will be down the base along there. A 16mm port by 16 by 1 inch. So it'll be a nice thin slat port. But no, it should be great in there. So I don't know why I'm pointing the camera up there. But no, you can sort of see where we're going with it. So this bit's going to be all blocked out. Obviously, main subwoofer in the centre there. Speaker mount. The leisure battery is going to live over there. We've got the focal eye sub going back in over on that side, just to give him some mid-bass when he's not using his big heavy subwoofer. So no, it should be really good. That's the calculations. You're more than welcome to look at that, but that won't make any sense to you. It does make sense to me, but that's basically how we worked out all the bits and pieces. Obviously, the top of it isn't square, the angle's all spent off, so we had to work out cross-sectional area. I don't know why I say we, it was me. So I had to work a cross-sectional area, then obviously that'll give us our width, and then our port dimensions and things. But no, I'm happy with that. Really annoyingly, and I didn't notice this the first time, the roll cage itself isn't centre of the car. So if I line you up with the middle and you look through to the gear stick there, you can see it's slightly off centre now. The gear stick isn't necessarily centre, but as you come to the dashboard, that sort of bit is. So I think it's all to do with this little leg bit down here. So a bit frustrating because my box is symmetrical, but as you can see, we've got a little overhang that side and a slightly larger overhang that side. I don't know whether I'm going to change it. He did have some carbon panels coming for the side, but apparently they're not going to make it in time. So I'm going to put the original ones back in. So that may dictate what we do with the sides, but I can always trim it down. But yeah, let me get the rest of this sorted. What are we going to do next? We're going to get the port section into it and then lid it, and then we can start doing the rest. Just thought I'd give you a sneaky peek of roughly how it's going to look. I do love this sub, and plenty of room inside there. So all good as gold. Doesn't look like a lot's happened, but I am getting excited on this. It's getting there now. I can start to really picture how I've got it in my head and how it works in the car. So all good so far. Little update on the build. So we got the adjustable port happening, which would be a cool concept. I don't think it'd be very practical, to be fair. Like, why would you need to do that? But yeah, it would be a cool concept. So that's it in there. The rest of it is all sort of getting ready to go. Got the little tweeter cut out, just filling up any of the little holes and bits and pieces. All that's left really is to glue it in, seal the box, put the lid on, box done. And I bet you can't guess why I've built that janky bit at the bottom, but it all will be revealed. Maybe that will help shed some light on it. Now, hopefully this is the last time I have to take the cage out in this sit down. He will be bringing some carbon door cards back in at some point, which is going to be really annoying because everything's got to come out. Myself, I don't think I'd bother because you can have such a nice display here, but it's totally down to Chris at the end of the day. So what we've got going on down here. So I've just put some absorption foam essentially on top of those wood. Obviously got a little bit of sound on the base there, just in case it starts vibrating around. And then you can probably see we've got some rear lighting that all reacts and should light it up nicely here. That won't be the only lighting bit, but you'll see some more in a minute. Right, we're finally down to the last panel pieces that need to be cut for this, which is nice because it's not, even this itself, if I was to turn that box around, turn that centre one around, that frame isn't symmetrical either. So it's been right fun and games, but we got there. So that's all the pieces needed now for this side of it. Obviously the box top and then the amp rack on top of that. So only probably about another 4 years and it'll be done. Now that is one sexy MDFer. Getting it all sealed up now. How's that looking? Still got to do the sides and things, but yeah, we're getting there. It's gone back to boring looking, but let's try this bit. Getting a bit cooler. Now that's more like it. Right, almost lost track of what I've shown you, but basically that's where the amp location is going to be. Obviously we've got our battery box with our metal reinforcement hardware, because obviously we can't have the battery sliding around. Crossovers are going to live down there. Light up logo is going to go there. And from this side, it presents really nice. Right, almost finished the building stage. Right, finally, after a lot of cutting, obviously there's still the beauty panel to go on, we have our box with our amp rack, everything ready to go. We've got it cut out essentially for the ALPINE status bit. It's that tight that I had to build out an extra bit just to get the battery in. Now, maybe my fault for not giving him a smaller battery, but he is going to show this off. So I think he should have the most amount of amp hours he can do. And I can't wait to get the trim on it and get it in the car and hear it. That red is going to look stunning, but this Dinamica is a pain to trim with, but we'll get there. Another little update on the bits that you'll never see. So this is the reverse side of the top of the amp rack. And I do have to apologise for Chris, it's taken a bit longer than I want it to. This material, Dinamica, this stuff, is absolutely fantastic looking, but it's the worst thing in the world to try and sort of do any covering or trimming in. It's got absolutely no stretch whatsoever. So yeah, I'm struggling with that a little bit, but it will look good when we're done. So anyway, you won't ever see that bit, but we know it's in there. This is gonna look mental. Right, so finish that trim of the top amp rack that you saw a second ago. So obviously the next on the list to get sorted is this. So I'll just show you, obviously we've got sound deadening going on because I don't want this to sort of vibrate too much. One of my concerns, let me show my face actually, I've been working hard and you haven't seen me for a while. One of my slight concerns is that the speakers are on the same attachment as the bass unit. Now, with the setup in the car, I don't think there was another way of really realistically doing it and having a good looking unit. Potentially separate boxes, I guess, but then how do you support them without any visible sign of mounting them and stuff? So obviously with the speakers being on the subwoofer box, I'm wondering whether they'll vibrate while the sub vibrates. Now this is going to be stupidly heavy when it's done. The box build's probably 50 kilo, probably 30 kilo in the battery, the amps on top, the subwoofer alone, all the cabling, crossovers, everything's going on this box. So it should weigh a lot. Therefore it should dampen any sort of vibration movement. So we won't really know until we put it in the car, which will be a fun thing to find out. But then also, how do you fix that? I think this port's going to work out lovely. You may pick this up or not. Got a really nice sort of echo coming through. Happy days. Now that is getting there. So obviously got this side done. Don't know if I've shown you much on this. Obviously the metal battery tray, got a little anchor point essentially there and there for a strap to go over. All the LED wiring is done on the front end. I think I've just got a little bits and pieces to trim up still, and we're ready to put this beast in the car. Little sneaky peek. Looking very good. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Right, let's get it in. Well, the good news is we're in the car and she fits. Got the power cables and everything up on this side, got all the signal wires coming up on this side, and I've bolted it down so that obviously you've got bolts going straight through to the metal down there and there. And to be honest, if I shake the box, the car moves, so I'm feeling that fitting. Right, let's get this wired in. Probably going to start on this side, get all that. Got to get the split charge relay, powering the battery, run the earths and all the other bits and pieces. So you'll see it when it's all wired up. It's getting exciting. Battery's in, and one of the tweeters is in. Actually, I can show you that because it'll be hard to get to. So all looking very lovely. This is a part I've been waiting, well, since I started the job really, to see this in there with it all sort of set up. So I reckon we get the sub in there. Alpine's up to some weird trickery here. So I do know they were 3 ohm coils, which is odd. But genuinely I thought it was misprint or something like that, but I thought, no, it can't be. But yeah, we're reading 5.4 and we've got them in a series circuit. So that should be great for the amp, nice bit of control. Now that is one sexy looking enclosure. Can't wait to hear it. Core wiring is quite boring because now I just want to sort of hear it and things. I just thought I'd show you because obviously, Chris, you're not going to see inside this much. So that's what we look like. We've got a fuses up there. That's our subwoofer cable, earths, powers, all the rest of it ready to go. Right, just thought I'd show you what's going on over on this side. It's a shame actually, these crossovers are so good looking, but we ain't going to see them. But they're in there. Obviously, we've got the speaker and the tweeter down there. And there's also going to be a focal eye bus sitting on this side. So basically, when he's not using his monster sub, I powered it up earlier, and his monster, he can have just like a more sedate bass. And then obviously when he wants, he flicks the switch, and then the big one comes on. But I have set it so that when you turn on the big one, the focal turns off, because we don't need that little thing trying to distort our sound system. So, right, let me get these wired in. And then I think we're getting close. Just thought I'd show you what we're doing on the doors. So obviously you can see inside we've got the sound deadening, cutting out a square so we can get onto the nice metal bit, another bit of sound deadening there, and then the inside of the door card will be covered with like, well, it's like a foam, I'll show you. But yeah, let me get these in, and then obviously got to get the tweeter up there in as well, and that's this front left done. Right, I thought I'd show you what's going on with the door cards. Obviously it's not finished yet, I'm just going over the main parts of it. Still got to roller it down and other bits and pieces. But basically it's just trying to find anything that feels sort of loose. You could go OTT and sort of do absolutely everything, but it is a Fiat 500. There's gonna be a lot of noise anyway. It's got loud exhaust, everything else. So yeah, we'll keep weight down a little bit because we've certainly added a lot on there. But I'm just going to go over it and see if there's any sort of resonancy bits. And then obviously on top of this, you'll get then the foam layer. So I'll show you that once I've got this all rolled down. There we go. That should help out a bit with it. Right, as well as the sound deadening, we're also going to use one of this, which is a very similar to the stuff I've put on the inside of the door card, but this one's a bit stiffer. And this is an acoustic wave diffuser. You can imagine, obviously, the speaker comes backwards and forwards, sound comes this way, but sound goes that way as well. Now, what we don't want is the sound hitting that flat wall and reflecting back into the back of the speaker, because at the right frequency, it will actually try and just basically change how the sound comes across. So the idea with this is that nothing comes directly, it can't bounce in and come straight back. It should hit one of these angles and come off this way or the other way. And also as well, I'm not going to sound deaden the rest of this because basically this is all just loose. There's all air holes here essentially. This is all just going through into this. Like I say, it's not really the car for doing high SQ. But I think with the fact that we've got the stuff that's like this on the inside of the door card, that should be pressing against all this, we shouldn't have a problem. Either way, it's easy to take a door card off and address the issue afterwards. So, right, let me get this inside here, and it will look really cool when it's on the back of that. As you can see now, that's all set and looking good. All right, let's get the speaker ring on. Now, if I was the speaker, I wouldn't mind being in there. So, right, let's get it in. So the rest of it, like I say, is just going to be covered over with the baffle piece from the inside of the door card. And obviously we've got double mount position. I guess I have to admit, when I originally took this job on, I said to the customer, yeah, it's taking about 3 days or so. You can probably see over my shoulder that we're not ready yet. So it's a case of, I do have to apologise to Chris. He's been really understanding, and what the hell was I thinking trying to do this in 3 days? This is at least a week's worth of work. And it is the silly things like that, making sure that everything is ready to go, because I don't want it coming back in because there's problems. I want to know that that speaker mount is solid as, and I haven't got to go back there. So thank you, Chris, for your understanding, and apologies it took so long so far. Alpine Status, baby. Shame you're never going to get to see it. See you later, mate. I hope I never have to take you back apart again. Yeah, that should be well happy up in there. Oh, I guess this is the problem with doing custom work, and also why it takes so long. So obviously you saw what I've just done and put it all on, but if we go up under here, we can see that that original plastic ring isn't going to clear my mount. Now, to be honest, I don't care for that little plastic ring compared to my mount, so I'll take the panel back off and just trim that plastic down. More fun and games. A fresh blade and wrists of steel, and hopefully that's enough. If not, we'll have to go deeper, but I don't want to go too far because it's quite nice to have the little sort of guide there for the sound to go straight through the grill. And there is something that's really commonly overlooked when you do all the sound deadening and you make this bit all sound as nice as you can do. The bonus is, sounds like a Golf. Right, I'm glad that bit's done because that's always boring, which is cable management. Obviously keeping power cables away from signal wires. They're the speaker wires in there. There's also some lighting wire at the top there, for instance, but that runs very, very low current, so I'm not worried about that. These are very good quality RCAs anyway, so it's not really a problem. I think then all we've got to do now is just put the top amp in and we can get the whole system running. That amplifier's all in, subwoofer's playing out beautifully. Everything else now is sort of coming together. Last piece will be to build the panel, well, not build it, but just trim the panel that goes along the bottom here and then do the beauty side of it. And then finally I can put the chairs back in and sit down for a while. A lot of time on my knees, which isn't that fun. Just powered it up, guys, and holy this thing sounds good. I impress myself sometimes, it's lovely. This thing just sounds mental. Starting to look pretty damn awesome, but I think I'm going to make a slight design change. So down the bottom over here, here and here, we've got the acrylics, and there's a black bit that goes over the top as well. I think basically it may be too much black, and you get a little bit of red accent there, a little bit around the sub and over there. I'm thinking of changing those to make those red, so let's hope it's the right decision. But yeah, that as a visual, obviously ignore the middle bit because it still looks rubbish, but I think that's going to look spot on. I don't know if I've shown you the voltmeter as well. There's a little voltmeter into that bit. To be honest, it's been a bit of a cut and shut video. It's not like, well, let me give you an example. It is now 1:30 and it's dark outside. That's a, let me show you this way. So it's 1:30 and it's night time, and that basically means that it's not daytime 1:30. And there's been quite a few of these nights, hence why I probably look a little bit baggy-eyed. Lily, I know you probably hating the fact that I'm not at home with you, but I've got to do this, and I was crazy to think I could do this in such a quick time, but I think I've built something better than what I was expecting to build. And the fact that Jamie Shaw has endorsed the dashboard on it, Alpine want to come down and film it. It's not like one I can just rush and get done. So anyway, apologies for the video. I'm not showing you me cutting the wood and all the bits and pieces. It's sort of jumping from bit to bit to bit. But basically, I'm tired, and to stop and film everything would be a pain. So I'll show you the bits as I go along, which if you've got this far in the video, I'm sure you're happy to carry on with. So right, let's get this last little bit sorted, and that's the build done. I don't know if it's right, so I've put a bit of red in there just resting it in to see, but I think that looks much cooler. So yeah, we're sticking to black. Right, and before I put this cover back on that goes on here, this is for future Neil, so that if I have to work on this again, I know what's going on. So sub RCA, left side lighting. In that one we have the speaker supply from front left and rear left. That one we have the focal wiring, main power for the 4-channel lamp, and earth for 4-channel lamp. So in case I have to do any work on it. But no, I think that's come out really good, and you'll never see any of it, and it'll be covered up. Obviously it's quite important that these cables don't move, so they don't start vibrating off this box. So that's why they're sort of quite industrially pinned down there. As you can see, we've got the focal going over there. I don't know if I'd ever use it. It sounds okay in there, but we've got a status sub at the back there. So this may be nice. I don't know if you can see, but through the glass there, you can see the terminals for the amps. So I've left it open so you can see the power, the speaker and stuff. So you see a little bit of what's going on behind rather than just being fully pretty. And obviously I've got the covers off at the moment on the amps just because I'm doing the tune up and things. So, but yeah, everything's all good. Battery's on charge. Car's just got to be put back together. And I think I'll even let the customer pull off the screen protector, because although that is a lot of fun, it is his unit. So, right. I think the next bit you'll see will be that all covered over, and it will just look really boring and professional. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. So I think she presents really nice. You can see how tight it is though. In the original design of it, there wasn't this extra bulge, but this battery was too big because I couldn't have it too near the magnet on the other side. So little miscalculation there, but I don't think it looks too bad at all. So right, just got to get the amp covers in, and I think the rest of the dashboard's all in, doors are all in. Right, guess the chair should go in as well probably. Vacuuming's always the good part of the job, because it means you're nearly finished. Right, my deadline was 12 o'clock today, and we're 2 minutes to go. So a quick jet wash because it's covered in dust, and we are done. Shut the door so we don't soak what we've just built. All good. Now I've been waiting a long time to actually see how my vision turns out, and I'm really liking that. Let's hope Chris likes it too. I'll get it out in the sunlight so you can see it fully, but it's looking exactly as I thought it would. Yeah, I don't think I've done too bad, to be honest, from that to that. The customer has just turned up, so I'm gonna make this a quick sign off because I know he's gagging to see this. So yeah, it's been a really fun job. It's been so much more work than I wanted it to be. The time I allowed for it was totally inappropriate, but it's an Alpine Status. I've not worked with this stuff before, and it's beautiful. I've done high-end stuff, and I really, really, really want to get this in my car. That subwoofer is mental good. You can't get it over this camera from what it sounds like on here, how it sounds to me, working with audio for 20 years, and knowing that this is the first stage of its life. It's not into its sort of stride yet. It's still at walking pace. So it does sound phenomenal. I was a bit worried about the car being so small that it's going to overpower it, but it contains it. It holds it really, really well. And like I say, it's an interesting job. It started off with a customer. He already had a Focal PS series system in here. We already had an Alpine amplifier. We had a Pioneer head unit. We had the Focali sub that's still in the back now. And it was a nice system. And everyone said to him, like, sort of, you've got a good system. But he knew that he wanted more. And I'm so glad that he did, because I get to build this for him. And it was a fun one. It sort of evolved. It was originally going to be an Alpine Type R system with a Type X sub. On the basis that Type X is really, really loud, 3000 watts, Type Rs can go loud, but the Type X isn't available anymore. And was looking at the Type R, and I was thinking, no, one Type R is not going to cut it, it's not going to do the job. Then started looking at HDZ's range and sort of the Status range, and sort of had a chat with the customer and said, look, do you want to go a little bit more mental than what we originally planned, but for sound quality and everything else, this is the way forwards. So, and I'm so glad that Chris, you decided to go for it. I don't even know what his bill is going to be. I'm going to go and tot it up in a minute, but it ain't going to be 100 quid for sure. But no, I hope you really like it, guys. I think I've shown you bits of what I've put in there, not necessarily the boring stuff like the drilling and the cutting and things, not like some of the other videos that I do, but it's been so much work to get done, and I'm really pleased with how it comes out. I think I am the first UK dealer to put Status in a car, including like a 4-channel speaker system, front and rear audio, the subwoofer. There isn't, I know one other car actually, but it's a show car for a company who owns sort of the company that actually owns the shop, and it's his car. So I guess it's not a customer car. So this is the first UK customer car. And it was mad that I had to speak to Alpine before they'd let me buy the stuff, just to make sure they knew who I was and things, which was nice, but also a little bit nerve-wracking. What if they said no? What if I turn around to Chris and be like, oh, by the way, mate, all that stuff that we've just looked at, we can't get it because they don't trust me to fit it. So, but yeah, really fun job. I know Chris you're going to see this car at shows, you're going to see it out and about. Just think of all the 1-2 o'clock in the mornings that I've had to spend doing it, because it literally turned it around, what, just over a week, but I had other cars booked in during the day, so it's all been evening work. So he dropped it off last Monday. I allowed, what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was how long it was meant to be here for, and we're now at the following Thursday. So I do appreciate Chris for waiting for me, but like I say, yeah, it's worth the wait. I'm going to wrap this video up here, and I'm going to go and get some sleep, and I'll catch you on the next one.